I'd like to call this council meeting to order. Would you please stand and join us in the pledge? Ms. Colo, would you lead us in the pledge, please? A moment of silent prayer or meditation. Thank you. Melody, would you do a roll call, please?
Councilman Holtz.
Present.
Wait a minute. Councilman Hoach, we can see you. Okay, all right.
There he is.
All right, it's good.
Councilman Curry.
Here.
Councilwoman King.
Here.
Mishler.
Present.
Councilman Fish.
Here.
Councilwoman Hines. Councilman Crabtree.
Present.
Councilman Hinkie. President Dawson.
Present. I'd like to remind everybody to make sure your phones are on silent or airplane mode while you're in the council chambers. Minutes for approval for council meeting March 17th, 2025. Can I get a motion for approval? I got a motion for Mr. Crabtree, a second for Mr. Fish for approval. All those in favor, signify. That's right. We have to do a roll call because Alex is online. Would you do a roll call vote, please, Melly, on approval of the minutes?
Councilman Holtz.
Yes.
Councilman Curry.
Yes.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Councilman Mishler.
Aye.
Councilman Fish. Councilman Crabtree.
Yes.
Councilman Hinkie's not here. President Dawson.
Aye. Thank you. Minutes have been approved. We have presentations and introductions. Fair Housing Proclamation. Ms. Mary Jo Wyrick.
Good evening, councilors. Mary Jo Wyrick. I am chair of the Elkhart Human Relations Commission. And just a real brief what the Human Relations Commission does. When complaints come in from residents that feel like they've been discriminated against in a housing situation, they are referred to Dana Donald, who is the Fair Housing Coordinator. And she investigates, talks to the complainant, talks to the respondent, talks to other possible witnesses. She prepares a report, submits it to the commission. And we meet, discuss it, and determine whether there's probable cause to proceed further. Then it's referred back to Dana, and I'm going to let Dana tell you what she does after.
Greetings, I'm Dana Donald with the City of Elkhart, and once the commission makes a decision, I'll notify the complainant and the respondent as what the decision was. If it was a decision that there was reason to believe that discrimination occurred, then it goes further to an administrative law judge or to court, depending on how far it can go. It doesn't have to go that far if they reach a conciliation agreement, which says the respondent isn't admitting fault, they're just agreeing to terms that everybody can agree to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Council liaison on our commission, and he's very faithful about showing up, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm sure he is, especially since he's retired. I'm sure he's made all the meetings.
Yeah, well, we compare notes about retirement. Mr. Mayor.
Okay, compare notes about retirement. I love it when you stand beside me, Mary Jo. It just makes me feel small. Thank you for making me feel big. I appreciate that. So I'd like to read this to you. The City of Elkhart proclaims April 2025 Fair Housing Month, whereas the federal law or Fair Housing Act, enacted on April 11th, 1968, enshrined into law the goal of eliminating housing discrimination in the United States. Whereas the Federal Fair Housing Act, as amended, prohibits housing discrimination that is based on race, skin color, gender, family, status, national origin, religion, or disability. Whereas the City of Elkhart prohibits housing discrimination when renting or housing or buying housing, receiving a mortgage, seeking housing assistance, or engaging in other housing-related activities. Whereas fair housing is essential to the ethical commitment of the City of Elkhart and is crucial to serving our community, our social fabric, economy, health, and environment is strengthened by the various people in our community. Ongoing education and outreach are key to raising awareness of fair housing principles, practices, rights, and responsibilities. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Rod Robertson, Mayor of Elkhart, Indiana, in support of our continued commitment to equal housing opportunities for all and keeping vibrancy in our city, do hereby declare the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month. Mayor Rod Robertson, City of Elkhart, Indiana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Or Mary Jo, would you like to explain the drawings in the back on the table?
Each year, the Human Relations Commission, in conjunction and support of the Elkhart Board of Realtors, Elkhart County Board of Realtors, has a fair housing poster contest for students. And then the Board of Realtors selects the winners, and there are cash prizes for the first, second, and third grade winners. And this year we had elementary students, second, third, fourth, and fifth, one category, and then second, third, and fourth, and fifth and sixth was the other category. And the winning posters are back here. Those of you that haven't seen them yet, stop by after the meeting and take a look. They're kind of...
Thank you, Mary Jo.
Thank you, Mary Jo.
Good to see you.
Okay, unfinished business, reports of council committees. There are no reports. Ordinance on second and third reading. Would you please read proposed ordinance 25-0-48 by title, please?
Proposed ordinance 25-0-08, an ordinance amending ordinance number 5963, establishing rates and charges for the use of and services rendered by the water utility system of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, by replacing Appendix A and Appendix B as approved by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second by
Motion.
Fish, second by Mr. Crabtree. Sorry.
Good evening, Council. So I have prepared just two quick slides, and you all have a copy of them in case they're easier for you to look at that way. Just some background. The water utility is regulated by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, the IURC. Our rates and fees must ultimately be approved by the IURC. The Elkhart Common Council passed a water rate ordinance in 2023. It was immediately submitted to the IURC for review and did not receive approval from the IURC until March of 2025. The City of Elkhart has a history of not changing water rates. The last increases were in 1993 and 2008. The City of Elkhart has the lowest water rate in the state of Indiana, and it's under half the state average. Not know what that is. Okay, attached, this is the table of the IURC changes. What you can see is our 4 tiers of water charges per 1,000 gallons, our current rate, the original rate that was proposed and submitted to the IURC adopted rate, and what that changes. It amounts to about a dime or a quarter on an average residential water bill. The IURC also modified every rate and charge for the hydrants, the service charges, the minimum charges, and fire suppression systems. Every rate was adjusted downward between 1.2 and 2.3%.
Thank you. Mr. Mishler.
I believe there's an amended version of this ordinance.
So,
I make a motion that we substitute proposed ordinance 25-0-08 with the amended version 25-0-08R.
it's a motion by Mr. Mishler,
Second.
second by Mr. Fish. Council discussion. Seeing none, Melinda, would you do a roll call vote, please? Melody?
Councilman Holtz,
Aye.
Councilman Curry,
Yes.
Councilwoman King,
Yes.
Councilman Mishler,
Aye.
Councilman Fish,
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree,
Yes.
President Dawson,
Aye.
7.
Thank you. Council discussion, Mr. Fish.
So Tori, we were timely in getting this submitted to the IURC. What could we say about their delay?
It takes a long time to go through the IURC process.
Is it just that complicated on their end? Because you had it together up here.
Yeah, it is just their process. I can't speak to why their process takes a year, give or take, but we anticipated that going in, that it was not going to be a speedy process, so, yep.
Mishler.
Hi, Tori.
Hi.
So raising water rates is never popular. Why do we have to do this? What are the consequences for our community and our water system if this were not to pass?
So as I noted, the last increase was in 2008. There has been a lot of inflation since 2008. All of our materials and labor fees, our O&M has gone up. Our capital costs have done nothing but gone up. Without this increase, we can't address things like lead. We can't address things like capital improvements, capital replacements. Just to maintain the system and keep it functional, this is necessary, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Tori? Thank you, Tori. At this point, I'll open up to the public. Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak with regards to this ordinance on second reading? Seeing none, we turn it back to the council floor. Any other council discussion? Seeing none, Melody, would you do a roll call, please?
Councilman Holtz,
Aye.
Councilman Curry,
Yes.
Councilwoman King,
Yes.
Councilman Mishler,
I don't want to.
Councilman Fish, President Dawson.
Aye.
Yes. Yes for me as well. Second.
Motion for Mr. Mishler, second for Ms. Crabtree for third and final. Melody, would you read? That's all right. Melody, would you read this by title, please?
Proposed ordinance 25-0-08, an ordinance amending ordinance number 5963, establishing rates and charges for the use of and services rendered by the water utility system of the city of Elkhart, Indiana, by replacing Appendix A and Appendix B as approved by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission. Councilman Holtz,
Aye.
Councilman Curry,
Yes.
Councilwoman King,
Yes.
Councilman Mishler, Councilman Fish,
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree,
Yes.
President Dawson.
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
Thank you. Would you read proposed ordinance 25-0-09 by title, please?
Proposed ordinance 25-0-09, an ordinance appropriating $8,984,000 from the general fund for the new Fire Station 6.
I'm going to get a motion and a second to adopt this on second reading.
So move.
Got a motion by Mr. Crabtree, second by Mr. Mishler. Council discussion. Council discussion, seeing none, I'll open it up to the public. Is there anyone in public that would like to speak with regards to this? A presentation. Seeing none. Curry.
Yeah, I'd just like to say adding this fire station to our city is a good thing for our city.
Mr. Dawson,
Mr. Hinkie, is that you? Who
it
that?
is.
All right, turn your volume up a little.
It is. Can you hear
All
me
right.
at this point? Yeah, I cannot support. I just believe that we have not provided a clear environmental study. We have contamination very close to the property and how long it would be, plume or interceptor well. I would have liked to have heard that we have done something to monitor that system, a monitoring well, simply because we build it and we don't know how many years a plume could move, since we do have recent history of that. And I'm not satisfied that we've gone that far.
Mr. Hinkie, during a council meeting, in a session, you asked those same questions, and the answer was given to you that we had done phase ones on them. And as someone who has served for over 20 years, I think you realize now that whenever we do a property, we do a phase one. So you actually supported this ordinance when it was brought forth. You asked questions as to whether or not we did do a phase one. We answered those questions. You agreed that we did a phase one. So your comments are contradictory to what you voted on previously. So while we appreciate them,
Mr.
they're not
They are
factual.
with respect, they are not. The phase one was done on this particular property. We agree. However, within how many
But
feet?
no, you said that it was not done, and you asked that we do it, and you already knew that we did a phase one. So I'm not understanding where your questioning is going when you knew that we did a phase
If you
one.
let me finish, that would be wonderful, so I could finish my part, and you don't have to explain to me what you think I meant by that. My point.
Well, your
phase
points
one
are
was-
made in the minutes of the meeting that I'm referring to that we had. It's not what I think, it's what is recorded and approved by the city council. When you asked those questions and we told you that there had been a phase one and you agreed to that, so we're not understanding the content of where your question is going now when you say that there's an environmental problem and you knew all along
Now,
that we've done a
if
phase one
If you
on the
could
property.
quiet long enough to let me explain my position, that would be really helpful. We could get through this. My point, even though a phase one, we don't know for certain, I didn't know the date of a phase one on this particular property. The problem we have is, my concern is the plume underneath the ground at a lateral property across the street, which we well know is a Superfund site. So I'm looking for something that says, like the Elkhart Clinic, that plume is not going to move in the next 20 to 30 years. What do we have in place to guarantee that we would find a moving plume before it became a problem spot at that fire station? I think that's clear enough. There has been no remediation to that contaminated property across the road.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Mishler?
Thank you. You know, I try to be a lot of things. I try to, listen. I try to take the time to reach out to city staff when I have a question for clarification. And one thing that I am not, and I will admit to not being, is an expert on environmental cleanups. However, I do respect people who have the training and education and take the time to do the due diligence for our city and our city employees. So, for me, if the city says a phase one was completed and the property is cleared and cleaned according to that phase one, I cannot base my vote on a hypothetical maybe of another property across the way. This fire station is essential for providing continued health and safety to the city of Elkhart and the people of the 3rd District. It will allow larger vehicles, more ambulances, and rapid care to those who need it as our city continues to expand and develop. As such, I will be supporting this ordinance and the proposed fire station. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Melody, would you do a roll call vote?
Councilman,
First, Melody, before you do that, public hearing.
And Mr. President, my hand was up. I'm not
Sorry,
sure.
David, sorry, David, we're in public hearing. What'd you say, Mr. IT guy?
You've seen my hand up prior to. I realize
All
you're
right,
trying to
would you put her on, please?
It's inappropriate.
And mute Mr. Henke so the public can speak. Thank you.
Louis Ann, if you could unmute yourself.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, hi, Louis Ann Deputy. I live in the 3rd District. I understand the need for the new fire station. I just had a couple of questions. At the Board of Works meeting, the lowest bidder was 7.3 million, and they're asking for 8.9 million. So I was just curious what the difference, where the 1.6 million is coming in, is the first question. And then I know that it's supposed to be coming from the general fund. I know legislation was passed in 2023 saying that TIF funds could be used for capital and operation cost for public safety. Just curious why we wouldn't use some of the Cassopolis TIF money, because the Cassopolis TIF area certainly benefits from fire station number 6.
Thank you. Is that something? Yes. Is there anyone else in the public? Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public? Seeing none. Now, all right, thank you.
Evening Council, Tor Irwin, Public Works. I can address two things. Number one, the concerns about the nearby, it's called the Lane Street Superfund site. The site is a half a block south of the location for the fire station. When the EPA and IDIM assessed the boundary of the Superfund, it did not stretch north to this site. The plume is migrating southward towards the river, not northward away from the river. The EPA is part of the mitigation for the fund, extended water main throughout the neighborhood, residential neighborhood, which had basements and well water throughout that area. So we have no reason to believe that the plume would move against the current of the groundwater, which is southward towards the river. In addition, the fire station has no basement. It will be slab on grade. There is no danger that even in the extraordinarily unlikely event that the plume would migrate northward, that the vapor would at all come up or invade. There's no ground space for it to invade. It's also going to be connected to city water and have no well water. So there will be no draw or pull of the plume in any direction northward. So I think that sufficiently addresses that. As far as the cost goes, the low bid amount was $7.444 million, but the award includes some contingency and then as architectural services for the construction.
Mr. Fish.
So, Tori, just one question. It sounds like it's going to be a self-contained facility. So if they're washing trucks, it's go into our containment system. It'll be in our drainage system within.
Yeah, it'll be in the city's sewer system.
It'll be a controlled environmental situation.
Yeah, there would be. It's all city water.
Yeah. So it's a good site, and it's going to serve the public well.
It took a lot of effort to find the site that wasn't nearby anyone that would be disrupted by the sirens.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, council members. Just a couple points to keep in mind as we go forward with this station.
And you are?
I'm sorry, Rodney Dale, Elkhart City Fire Chief. Just a couple points to keep in mind as we go forward with this fire station. First off, presently, we have a one-bay fire station at Station 6. City our size, I'm not aware of any city our size that still has a one-bay fire station, meaning we cannot house an ambulance inside of it. As we move this station further northeast, we'll have a ladder truck, an engine company, and an ambulance. Presently, the ambulance that serves District 3 is coming from Central Fire Station, which is a longer haul from Central Fire Station out northeast. Presently, to accommodate that, we have Engine 6 as a paramedic engine company, which means they can provide advanced life support, but they can't transport presently. So when this new station goes into service, that'll accommodate that. Secondly, our ISO rating, which is the city's insurance rating, we're presently at a 2. In order to accommodate that northeast corridor, we have to have a station sitting out there to decrease our ISO rating. The lower the number in this situation, the better off you are. We're presently at a 2, which is good. It's really good. We're trying to get that down to a 1, and that will help accommodate that. Also, the big thing, the big savings for the taxpayer is by the location we chose, there's no longer a need for a Station 8. NFP 1710 allows us about 8.5 minutes to get to a call. Our city averages around 5.5 minutes. This will keep us within that range. Now, you guys do have the right to set response times. I wouldn't recommend going slower than an FPA, but just so you know, this will accommodate that. It'll get us right, keep us right around 5.5 minutes for that northeast corridor. So everything will be functioning fine. The station's going to have 12 bedrooms, accommodating 10 firefighters, 2 battalion chiefs. It's got enough land for an extra bay. The station's about 13,000 square feet. So this catapults us into the future in a nice way. So this is going to be an excellent thing for our city.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Fish.
So I just have a couple of comments about it, and I know we're getting into the meat and potatoes of getting this project going, but one of the things I didn't read in this is that possibility that we need to consider future alternative energy. We're trying to be more conscious as we go through time, and I know it's late in terms of design hearing, but if there's a way you can consider even getting us ready for electric vehicles and solar panels and wind, those energy service elements, if you could just consider that in the future, maybe get it conduit ready so we don't have to spend very much money to actually pull the plug.
That's an excellent point. I was literally just sitting here texting Jeff Savas, head of our environmental center. Okay. We were just texting back and forth. He's gotten approved for some solar panels. That's something we already got in mind for Station 3. And depending on what the builder said, how we can accommodate that at Station 6, that would be excellent. Great. We were just discussing that.
There's a lot of there's so much potential in that, and also other grant programs and low-cost alternatives. So thank you for that.
Yep,
Mr. Mishler.
Yes, thank you. This expanded larger station, will that also allow us to better assist our partners at Concord through our interlocal agreements in case they need support?
Oh, absolutely, especially Oslo, which is, they're closely located to us and they're good people. Just the mutual aid agreements are always going to be important. Concord, Cleveland, Oslo, it'll definitely allow us to, and even Bristol, help us better assist those guys when things are going on. It gets to be a little bit too much for them, or if they're out on something else, we can help out.
Thank you. And could you give us a quick timetable of when we could expect to see shovels in the ground or completion and things?
Per my understanding, they're going to start building here in another month or so, or breaking ground, and they'll be done in about a year.
A year, that's pretty quick. Good news.
Yeah.
Mr. Hinkie.
Thank you. We appreciate the 3rd District having a fire station. We've known that a relocation was necessary at some point along the way for growth in that particular area stretching eastward. My bigger area of concern happened to be after the Elkhart Clinic fiasco of an environmental leak through the pores of a foundation and basement. So that's where I really felt as though we should have some form of a plan, not so much a guarantee, but even if EPA would suggest an interceptor well, or if they would say we wouldn't expect that plume to go a different direction. However, the one at the Elkhart Clinic did go contrary to a normal plume heading to the river. So that one surprised us, and it gave me room for pause to say, what are we doing with somewhat of a guarantee? As much as we can't provide a guarantee. That's really what I was after. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience before I close the public hearing? Thank you, Thank you, Chief. I'll close the public hearing. Turn it back to the council. Melody, would you do a roll call vote on second reading, please?
Councilman Holtz,
Aye.
Councilman Curry,
Yes.
Councilwoman King,
Yes.
Councilman Mishler,
Aye.
Councilman Fish,
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree,
Yes.
President Dawson.
Aye.
Third and final.
Did you hold it? Did you do Councilman Hinkie? Would you do
Yeah, I've
him?
not been able to do the last two things. I just didn't know if you had counted me as in the meeting.
Yes, we counted him in the, I'm sorry. Councilman Hinkie, could you please respond with a vote?
David, could you hear us?
No, I can hear you now.
Could you please
I vote as
respond with
no,
a
thank
vote?
you. I voted
What is
no.
your vote? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Third and final, I got a motion for Mr. Mishler.
Second.
Second, Mr. Crabtree for third and final. Melody, would you read this by title and do a roll call, please?
Proposed ordinance
Roll call vote.
250-09, an ordinance appropriating $8,984,000 from the general fund for the new Fire Station 6. Councilman Holtz,
Aye.
Councilman Curry,
Yes.
Councilwoman King,
Yes.
Councilman Mishler,
Aye.
Councilman Fish,
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree,
Yes.
Councilman Hinkie,
No.
President Dawson.
Aye.
Passes 6-1. 7-1.
Yes, thank you. Ordinance and resolution referred to committee. There are none. There are no tabled ordinances or resolutions. New business. Would you please read proposed ordinance 25-0-10 by title, please?
Proposed ordinance 25-0-10, an ordinance establishing a rental inspection program for the city of Elkhart, Indiana.
Thank you. This will be placed in the Public Health and Safety Committee. Would you please read proposed ordinance 25-0-11 by title, please?
Proposed ordinance 25-0-11, an ordinance appropriating $95,000 to provide initial funding to the implement the Elkhart Rental Inspection Program.
Thank you. This ordinance will be placed in Public Health and Safety Committee as well. Would you read proposed ordinance 25-0-12 by title, please?
Proposed ordinance 25-0-12, an ordinance appropriating designated funds necessary to correct an administrative error in the 2025 budgetary process and implement the 2025 budget adopted by the Common Council.
Thank you. If there are no objections, this will be passed on the second reading. Would you read proposed ordinance 25-0-13 by title, please?
Proposed ordinance 25-0-13, an ordinance appropriating $372,800 for the replacement of the north roof of the Lerner Theater.
Objection, this will pass on the second reading. Would you read proposed ordinance 25-0-14, please?
Proposed ordinance 25-0-14, an ordinance reappropriating $350,000 from the Great Elkhart Fund for the joint city-county resurfacing project on County Road 6.
Thank you. If there are no objections, this will be passed on to second reading. Resolutions, would you read proposed resolution 25-R06 by title, please?
Proposed resolution 25-R-06, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, confirming resolution number R-05-25, which declared a certain area in the City of Elkhart to be an economic revitalization area for the purpose of granting tax phase-in benefits to Jacobs and Thompson Ltd., DBA Worldwide Foam, CJSB Properties Incorporated.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fish, second by Mr. Crabtree. Council discussion. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, I'll open up to the public. Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak with regards to this resolution? Seeing none, I'll return it back to the council floor. Melody, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Holtz,
Aye.
Councilman Curry,
Yes.
Councilwoman King,
Yes.
Councilman Mishler, Councilman Fish,
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree,
Yes.
Councilman Hinkie,
Aye.
President Dawson.
Aye. You want to tell him?
Councilman Henke, you have to have your camera on for the vote to be counted.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, would you read proposed resolution 25-R-07 by title, please?
Proposed resolution 25-R-07, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, to approve a memorandum of agreement between the City of Elkhart and Jacobs and Thompson Ltd., DBA Worldwide Foam, CJSB Properties Incorporated.
I get a motion and a second to adopt this resolution?
So move.
A motion by Mr. Crabtree, second by Mr. Fish. Council discussion. None. I'll open up to the public. Does anyone in the public want to speak with regards to this resolution? Seeing none, I'll return it back to the council for any council discussion. Seeing none, Melody, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Holtz,
Aye.
Councilman Curry,
Yes.
Councilwoman King,
Yes.
Councilman Mishler,
Yes.
Councilman Fish,
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree,
Yes.
Councilman Hinkie,
Aye.
President Dawson.
Aye. Would you read proposed resolution 25-R-08 by title, please?
Proposed resolution 25-R-08, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, approving the order of the Elkhart City Plan Commission and the action of the Elkhart Redevelopment Commission with regard to the amendment to the Downtown Urban Renewal Area Declaratory Resolution and Redevelopment Plan, removing parcels from allocation area number 1 to create new allocation area number 7, and adding the River District Development Company LLC project to the plan.
So move.
A motion by Mr. Crabtree.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fish. Mr. Huber is standing before us.
Good evening, Council. Mike Huber, Development Services Director, City of Elkhart. As noted, the resolutions, Council Resolutions 08, 09, and 10 relate directly to recent actions taken by both the Elkhart Redevelopment Commission and the Elkhart Planning Commission to establish 2 new TIF districts that will support new development projects in the downtown area. The Indiana Redevelopment Statute requires that TIF allocation areas must include urban renewal or economic development plans. These plans, along with any changes or amendments, require approval by both the jurisdiction's Plan Commission and ratification by the legislative body, the council in this case. Both of these new allocation areas being created in the by the Redevelopment Commission are carve-outs from within the existing and original downtown TIF allocation area number 1. Each of these 2 new allocation areas are limited specifically to the parcels, including in the proposed development projects that they will be supporting. Baker Tilly has conducted an analysis of the existing downtown Area 1 and determined that the removal of these properties will not negatively impact the city's ability to meet current debt obligations for bonds or loans outstanding in the allocation Area 1. The projects being supported through the development of these new allocation areas this evening will result in almost $90 million of total new investment, creating approximately 300 new market rate housing units, 20,000 square feet of commercial office and retail space, and a new 250 space parking structure. These allocation areas represent continued new private investment in the city's identified target development areas in the River District and the Benham neighborhood.
Questions for Mr. Huber? Mr. Fish.
Thanks, Mike. So it's just really an accounting question. When we slice the pie a little bit more, is it more difficult for you to keep track of the tax revenues and the process of taxes?
It is not. In fact, it becomes more challenging to do development within TIF districts and not carve them out. I mean, this allows us to actually be able to track the specific amount of dollars, and we coordinate with the county treasurer and assessor to make sure we do that.
And we've got our own set of records saying these
Yes, we do.
TIF areas.
We absolutely do.
And once they get check and balance,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah, and so we contract with Baker Tilly every year for our TIF neutralization and annual TIF reporting, and they manage all of that for us as well.
Mishler.
Thank you. I just want to point out how good it is to hear that, one of the major concerns that I've heard from constituents about the River District and East Jackson is the need for more available parking. And, you know, it's good to see that the city listened and the city is working with developers to address those concerns so we can continue to increase support for the River District and also support our constituents, you know, because this parking garage will not only help Beacon Aquatic Center and all the events that occur there, the events that bring in thousands of new visitors into our community and support local businesses, but it will also help support parking for our downtown festivals and other events. So it's good to see that this is one of the first steps to continue to support our River District and development downtown.
Thank you. Any other questions? David?
Sorry, I had to get in the shade so I can see the phone. So, Mike, back to the original point, are we saying that there is no larger, we're just recutting, as Dwight said, cutting the pie, we're not enlarging the TIF area? 'Cause I also heard that we were adding partials.
So no, all of the parcels that we're talking about today are currently within downtown allocation area number 1. We are effectively carving those parcels out of those and creating new allocation area 7 and new allocation area 8. Allocation area 7 is going to be in the River District. It's basically, again, the 2 parcels of property, as noted, I think, in the diagrams in the packet, the 2 parcels of property that will accommodate that development. Similarly, allocation area 8 is in the Benham neighborhood, just immediately south of the railroad tracks and the Freight and South Main Street corridors. The specific properties that were RFP'd by the Redevelopment Commission and that are being acquired by the developer for that development are the only parcels that are being included in the allocation area number 8.
Now, does this change the sunset law in the new allocation?
The new allocation areas will have 25-year lifespans.
Okay, so it does have that effect, as opposed to leaving it conjoined, and the rationale and the purpose behind that, as a, you know what I'm saying, to
Sure.
not divide out.
Yeah. So the similar to what we did with the River District to the north, with when we created allocation areas 4, 5, and 6 to support the development that's ongoing there now. The remaining lifespan of the TIF wouldn't support the level of investment needed by the developer to make the project work. So we're extending the life of those TIFs in those small allocation areas, which again are only capturing the development. It resets the TIF on those parcels and only captures the increment related to those development projects.
That's what I wanted to hear, but thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Mike. I'm going to open up to the public. Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak with regards to this resolution? Seeing none, return it back for the council. Any council discussion? Seeing none, Melody, would you do a roll call vote, please, on this resolution?
Councilman Holtz.
Aye.
Councilman Curry.
Yes.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Councilman Mishler.
Aye.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree.
Yes.
Councilman Hinkie.
Aye.
President Dawson.
Aye.
Passes 8-0.
Would you read proposed resolution 25-R-09, please, by title?
Proposed Resolution 25-R-09, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, approving the order of the Elkhart City Plan Commission and the action of the Elkhart Redevelopment Commission with regard to the amendment to the Downtown Urban Renewal Area Declaratory Resolution and Redevelopment Plan, removing parcels from allocation area number 1 to create new allocation area number 8, and adding the Garrison Fraser Development Corporation project to the plan.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to adopt this resolution?
So move.
Motion by Mr. Crabtree,
Second.
second by Mr. Mishler. Council discussion. Being none, we'll open up to the public. Any in the public would like to speak with regards to this resolution? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the council. Council discussion. Any council discussion? Seeing none, Melody, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Holtz.
Aye.
Councilman Curry,
Yes.
Councilwoman King,
Yes.
Councilman Mishler,
Aye.
Councilman Fish,
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree,
Yes.
Councilman Hinkie,
Aye.
President Dawson.
Aye.
Passes 8-0.
Thank you. Would you please read proposed resolution 25-R-10 by title, please?
Proposed Resolution 25-R-10, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, approving the order of the Elkhart City Plan Commission with regard to the amendment to the development plan for the downtown urban renewal area and the development plan for the Castleopolis Street Corridor Economic Development Area, and approving the amendment to the plan.
So
I have a motion by Mr. Crabtree,
Second to adopt.
second by Mr. Mishler for adoption of this resolution. Is there any council discussion? Being none, I'll open up to the public. Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak with regards to this resolution? Seeing none, I'll return it back to the council. Council discussion. Melody, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Holtz,
Aye.
Councilman Curry,
Yes.
Councilwoman King,
Yes.
Councilman Mishler,
Aye.
Councilman Fish,
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree,
Yes.
Councilman Hinkie,
Aye.
President Dawson.
Aye.
Passes 8-0.
Thank you. Would you please read proposed resolution 25-R-11 by title, please?
Proposed Resolution 25-R-11, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, opposing significant cuts to municipal property tax revenues without an equitable, comprehensive replacement mechanism.
So move.
I have a motion by Mr. Crabtree, second by Mr. Fish for adoption of this resolution. We have a video that accompanies this resolution. Can we cue that up, please?
Megan Irwin, Chief of Staff. This video, just for context, is a video that was put together by the group AIM, Accelerate Indiana Municipalities, and it's intended to provide an educational information around how Indiana property taxes work. This is important context for why we believe that it's important to take a stand on what the state is doing in terms of limiting revenues to local government. So.
But what's the best solution? Property taxes help fund us and fire departments. Nah, it's just giving feedback.
Is there audio?
Yeah, is there?
Councilman Henke, we are currently experiencing some technical difficulties with the audio. However, that should hopefully be corrected once the new system upgrades are come to us whenever they do that. So we're not getting much audio in chamber either.
Thank you.
Or why don't you shut it down? Since it's not doing what we wanted to do. But is there any council discussion with regards to this resolution? Mr. Mishler.
Thank you. This resolution kind of mirrors other resolutions we're seeing around the state from various communities, and it's not really a partisan issue from some of these, communities are seeing it. Our towns, our counties, our townships rely on property taxes to provide services to constituents. And, I like paved roads. I don't like potholes. In order to fix those potholes and make sure our roads are paved, we need to have the funds to do it. In order to make sure our police are funded, we need to make sure that the city has the revenue coming from property taxes to do that. The same thing for our fire department, our cemetery, all of our services that we provide constituents, property taxes help support. And this just isn't Elkhart, it's Goshen, it's Napanee, it's communities around the state. So the proposed plan for Senate Bill 1 and the House equivalent to cut those taxes coming into our municipalities without a revenue replacement plan means those services that our community could potentially provide could suffer as a result. So this resolution, I believe, is to go to our state representatives, state senator, governor, who will be voting on that ordinance to tell them that we would like to either have some kind of revenue replacement mechanism in place to make sure that we can continue to provide those services to our constituents, or not to pass SB 1 as it currently is. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Council members. Mr. Henke.
I don't disagree with the concept. However, my question would be, has the chief of staff, the mayor, anyone reached out to Governor Braun? Because there are multiple taxes that were spoken to in regards to reducing property taxes, increasing the amount of disposable incomes per household, and taxing it from a sales approach. I don't have outcome numbers, but I do believe there's multiple areas where the government taxes people for the services rendered. However, I don't disagree with the fact that we would like to know the plan before this would happen. As a municipality, as Mr. Mishler said, counting on those funds with a preset budget, and a huge amount of overhead that is being funded for the next years moving forward, I do believe we just need to have the conversation in to the replacement revenues. So I don't oppose the reduction of property taxes. I do oppose the reduction of property taxes without a replacement vehicle to replenish funds as per this resolution.
Thank you. Any other council discussion? Open it up to the public. Megan, do you have something you'd like to add?
Answer any questions that you may have.
I think we're all pretty clear that we don't want to lose this revenue without some type of replacement.
Mayor would like you to know that we're in continued discussions with our representatives and governor.
Yes. And as the last couple of third houses, I've talked to our representatives as well and indicated that, I support those property tax cuts as long as we can replenish what it is it's going to take us to make sure we're a viable and vibrant community. So I've been passing that on. Thank you. Melanie, would you do a roll call? Does anyone else in the public would like to speak with regards to this? Seeing none. Melanie, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Holtz?
Aye.
Councilman Curry?
Yes.
Councilwoman King?
Yes.
Councilman Mishler?
Aye.
Councilman Fish? President Dawson.
Aye.
Passes 8-0.
Thank you. We have no vacation hearings. Is there any other new business? Yes, Mr. Fish.
We recently had some pretty serious storms. The 4th District was hit pretty hard. I just would like to thank all of the mayor and the city departments who responded almost immediately to the severe storm damage throughout my district and the city. It's a wonderful thing to see a group of people just focused on helping fellow citizens. We have a great city and a great group of folks, from the police to the fire to buildings and grounds to parks and rec. Pick one of them. It was pretty fascinating to see them snap to action. So thank you very much for all your efforts.
Thank you. Any other new business? Seeing, is his hand up? I can't see it.
Yeah, he's got it.
David, you got something? I'm just looking at Alex.
Yes. Even though out of town, I did get a heads up from Chief Milanese in regards to a significant vehicular accident in the 3rd District. I just appreciate the proactiveness. As we know, we get phone calls and expected to know things, and he was way ahead in the communication. Very much appreciated.
Thank you. Okay, reports, Mayor, Board of Works, Board of Safety.
Good evening, Council. I would also like to stand and thank our first responders in relationship to the storm as well. I'm going to ask Alex Otto to kind of give you a view of what was impacted during this particular storm, which wasn't as devastating on private property as the tornado was, but for those homes that were impacted, it was no less severe. And we had dispatch, fire and police very much engaged with any rescue opportunities that were necessary, as well as trying to ensure that there was no personal injury that was impacted as well. And so during a press conference, I stated these numbers, and have you found them, Alex? All right. Well, at any rate, I think it was over 80 properties that were hit, but I wanted to give you an exact number. And we haven't had a calculation of value yet in loss. But we know that we've been able to communicate all the relevant relationships for those residents to contact their insurance providers, as well as anyone else that could help them through this traumatic situation that they find themselves in if their property was damaged. Just wanted to thank all of the city responders, as well as, let me not also mention buildings and grounds and our arborists. I mean, the trees were severely impacted, some were uprooted, and we were trying to clear streets, and they were actually, in about 5 or 6 hours, we had the major arteries clear. We worked on a few other major streets or side streets to make sure we cleared them in the next 2 or 3 days. And so they did a wonderful job staying on it, working 24/7 in order to get those streets open for passage and for emergency vehicles to get through. So thank you very much for all of those who assisted from our staff, but I also want to thank residents for getting out and helping one another during that time as well.
Thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize Laura Colo, who's going to be unhappy that I did this. But Laura is leaving us, and she's been with us. We're not going to say how long because we're not that old, Laura. But I just want to say, just on behalf of the city, city council, and all that, not only you, but your mom has done to really bring us into the 21st century with our public utilities. Your service will be missed, and we want to thank you for everything you do. So thank you very much.
Mr. President, if we had to vote on that, she wouldn't get to leave.
You want to make a motion that she don't leave? All right, neighborhood association reports.
Yeah, I'd like to report for the Pierre Moran Neighborhood Association. We met yesterday, another good meeting. Officer Bias was there, and Adrian Riley from the police department was also there. And our residents always have a lot of questions about a lot of different things going on in the city. And Jen was there. She's one of our new residents, and we always get excited when we get somebody new to come to the meeting for the first time and ask her what attracted her to our neighborhood. And she said, I had never seen this part of Elkhart. Been in Elkhart a long time, but I just think it's a great part of the city. So that was good to hear. And the tornado did hit the 5th District and the Pierre Moran Neighborhood Association area again, because, you know, we got hit last July. Now we got hit again. So there was a lot of discussion about what the mayor had said. Neighbors need to be neighbors, and what we can do better in the future to make sure we're ready for whatever happened. And there was discussion about opening up our homes to neighbors that don't have basements. There's a few houses in there that people thought had basements, but they don't. And allowing those people to come for security at somebody else's home during that time. And we talked about that. There was even a suggestion that we get whistles. And of course, that request went to Officer Bias. Can you get us whistles? If we were ever trapped in the basement, they say you should have a whistle for when the first responders show up, they can know you down there. So anyway, it was a good discussion about helping each other during these times, and that's always good, reaching out to the community. And we had some big trees down, and we thank all the first responders and AEP when they came over and got the power going in 2 different steps. And we reached out to other people about that, helping each other come in the house because it was kind of cold too. And some of us had power and some didn't. But, you know, you make some phone calls and you make sure that get taken care of. And it's just good. And then we also talked about having our annual neighborhood cleanup. We had a big one last year, and we plan to have one this year. And also a neighborhood picnic for the neighbors can come together and get to know each other better. Thank you.
It's always good to know somebody at AEP too, right?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. I'd like to open up for the public right now. Is anyone in the public who would like to come and speak? I'm sorry, David.
Yes, thank you. In regards to 3rd District, but more importantly, the East Lake Greenleaf areas, we've had 2 cars report damage with very deep chuck holes. And these were very large. I did call them through to Mike Zooks, and on one, he knew about it and was going to get on it right away. The second one, he does have people getting on it tomorrow. The gentleman that called said he had purchased a new car. It's less than 60 days old, and it does now have front-end damage after bottoming out. So anything we can do to help call these in at a faster rate and get those in the attention of Mike and his crew, that would be wonderful. But it is having impact. So I just think we have to be more diligent. Thank you.
Thank you. Now to open up for privilege of the floor. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on anything that was not on our agenda tonight? Okay.
Louis Ann has her hand up.
Louis Ann?
Take you off mute.
There we go. I always do it opposite. Thank you. I want to say that Alex, the new communication director, is doing a really beautiful job in his presentations in letting us know the positive things that are going on in Elkhart. And the only suggestion I would have is, as Mike Huber nicely pointed out, Baker and Tilly sort of puts together analysis of how projects are going to be paid for. I would almost offer that as a suggestion for the city as a whole. I know that the state of city address is coming up. Oftentimes I feel like it's like a kid at Christmas. You're getting all these wonderful things, but you don't know there's a bill attached to it. I think that it would be just really educational and informative for the cities to know, okay, we have the new parking garage that is needed. We have the public safety that we need to renovate. How much is that going to cost? I've heard between 30 and 35 million. I don't know if that's accurate. You have the new Hively overpass. Not saying those things aren't good, but it would be nice to know how is the city going to pay for them, and how will it impact the citizens as far as, will we be having to issue bonds? Will we be paying for that? I know that the raising of the water rates, I understand that wasn't an easy decision. I know that had been passed down for many, many administrations. But I also, in paying attention to the Board of Works meetings, they may have to raise water rates in the next 2 or 3 years because of EPA mandates that are coming down for PFAs in water. So it would just be nice to have, let's celebrate the positive things that are going on, but also, how are they going to be paid for? How is it going to impact the citizens, especially when we're hearing that we're going to have a reduction in revenue? And so no different than we as individuals at home are having to adjust our expenditures, is the city going to need to do that? So I just appreciate it. I appreciate all of the positive things that are going on, but I would like to know, and I'm not the only one, how does it impact us? How are we paying for it? So thank you very much for your time.
Anyone else, online or in the audience? Seeing none, we turn it back to the council. Scheduling of committee meetings, Mr. Mishler will be doing that sometimes next week, or this week even. Acceptance of communications.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Mr. Fish, second by Mr. Crabtree to accept communications. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Do we need to do?
I'm sorry. Do we need to do a roll call on accepting communications? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Councilman Holtz,
Aye.
Councilman Curry,
Yes.
Councilwoman King,
Yes.
Councilman Mishler,
Aye.
Councilman Fish,
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree, Councilman Hinkie,
Aye.
President Dawson.
Aye.
Move for adjournment.
We don't need a motion since all the business has been conducted. We are adjourned.
Very good.